What's up, everybody? Divine Intervention with you guys again for another AEW Dynamite recap and review. Joined as always by All Elite Joker. And this week we have the pleasure of being joined by the executive consultant. Hey, EC, what's going on?
I came on this episode for one reason and one reason only, and I should say, not my champion.
Wow, you came on this show just okay. Wow. Well,
not my champion.
That's okay.
No one acknowledges you except your husband as he should.
That's a given. But that's not true. Almost everybody acknowledges me except for you. You will acknowledge me one day.
That's my championship.
Whatever. The numbers don't lie. I am the reigning champion. Go cry about it.
I have. Like plenty times.
Oh man. All right. Another great episode of AEW Dynamite. We're gonna go ahead and get into all the nooks and crannies here. Starting off really strong with Jon Moxley's return. Super glad to see him back in the ring. Obviously not in a match this evening, but always good to see him nonetheless. Oh, see. Hi, Elvis.
I'm sorry. Is my name not the executive consultant? Am I chopped liver? What the fuck? Like, we came on the episode at the same time. And how are you not going to acknowledge the executive consultant? You're fired, and you're not even hired.
You're on our show.
You're missing my point. This is why you're not my champion.
Bye, whatever. All right. Moxley regales us a tale of a bad dream on the side of the road, a dark cloud, demons, talking about just the scars. Everybody's got scars. And you shouldn't be afraid to bear it all. Overall, this promo, I mean, he really spoke from the heart here in regards to obviously everything that's been going on with him and now his return. But he capped it all off by saying he's thirsty and all he drinks these days is blood. Joker, Moxley's one of your favorites. This had to have been really big for you.
The patron saint of John's has returned. And man looks great. That was a very powerful and passionate promo that he cut. And just to see the reverence and the respect that the crowd had for him. Because, I mean, somebody said something at the beginning and John, in standard John fashion, cursed him out and was like, fuck out of here. But it was a really great promo. John's always had that, relatability and just bearing everything like he said he would and like he has always. It was very somber but empowered and impassioned speech.
Yeah, I agree. Quite the way to make a debut. He says he wants to take the wrestling world by the balls this year. EC, anybody that you might be interested in seeing against Jon Moxley? I mean,
yes, Roman Reigns.
Okay, maybe something that could actually happen.
It can happen. Vince can open up and say, "Hey, Tony's father, I forgot his name. I want your company. This is what I'm willing to do since your company will make money." Look, all I'm saying is that I agree. John made a very impassionate promo. It was good to see him back. I'm glad to see he's doing a little better. I mean, at least, not personally knowing him, hoping he's doing better. He looked better. I agree with John.
Yeah.
He looked better. He looked like he lost 5 years of his life. Like he looked, in the reverse. He looked better. Glad to see him. His promo was good. Felt like it was a little too long. And I felt like he did a little too much Moxley in it. And what I mean by a little too much Moxley in it, you start talking some shit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, let's bring it back. Let's get a direction. But besides that, I don't care because we know what he went through. It was publicized what he went through, and he has every right. So if you want to go ahead and talk on a tangent, I'm like, hold on, we're not getting into a clear direction. I'm fine with that. But it was good to see Jon Moxley back. They made the right decision by starting off the show with him. I think that was the best way to do it. I have no problems with this.
Yeah, it was a good segment.
Yeah, and John's always been super relatable. I think at this point, it seemed like he was on the road to potentially turning heel, but I think at this point,
I think that's what he was trying. They were aiming for before he got into his rehab. That he was actually slowly turning heel.
Right. Mm-hmm. But at this point, you guys consider him unturnable, or do you think later down the line
He's
that's
definitely
still
still
something?
turnable. It's definitely it needs to stay. It needs to stick with the slow burn, right? And I am going to say this, and it's not to be insulting or not to be insensitive. At this point, you have to make sure, because addiction is a real drug. The addiction itself, not necessarily whatever you're addicted to. Addiction is a real drug that affects the majority of the people in America. Let's be real. Almost everybody's been addicted to something.
Yeah.
If I'm Tony Khan, and this once again not to be negative, but if I'm Tony Khan, I would want to make sure that you are really in the clear before I put that kind of promo and that status and that rocket ship, as they like to say in wrestling, on you. Because I don't want to start something heavy and then you have to take you took a relapse and you had to go back.
Right. No,
so it's not that I don't trust
sense.
you. It's just that I have to protect the business and I have to protect you. So make this a real slow burn. Go ahead and eventually pull the trigger, but make sure, like, hey, are you back? Are you good? Not that I don't trust you, but are you good? Because we all have demons and we all have things that we have to fight through. And you don't know what can set them back. Big Daddy Cool Steven Pena. Love that guy. He's my partner on Monday Night Raw, which you can watch immediately after Monday Night Raw on Mondays. Always said, well, he didn't say, but I'm an evil dick. So I was like, hey, he had the child and he couldn't take it. That's what he said. Okay. As a father, I can tell you it's tough sometimes. Okay. So he had that child. He couldn't take it. He said, fuck this shit. I need a beer. And that's what happened, right? Speculation. I don't know that. I'm just saying,
the timeline, look, just speculation, but I mean, postpartum can hit both sides. It's not just something that affects the mother.
100%. Well, that's also 100% real. Not that I've ever experienced it, but that's 100% real. And he might have not really wanted to have children like that. He might have been proud, but he might not really wanted to have children like that. Once again, speculation. I don't want anybody to go and say, oh, Chris Harris said, don't. No, fuck you, Dave Meltzer. I don't want anybody to say that. I'm just saying.
What are we, Matt Cardona out here?
It's not. Just saying the timeline is divine intervention, so eloquently said. Timeline, might not want the children at that time.
But don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Just glad that he is.
He could have had a green shit instead of a brown shit and decided that he just could. He said, fuck this, I can't take this, give me a beer. I don't know. We don't know what was the catalyst.
But just happy to have him back nonetheless. So I'm sure we'll see more of Moxley, but someone else we'll see a lot more of, I'm sure, is MJF cutting a promo not just before, but in what is the word I'm looking for? Before the match, I guess. He exactly is hell yeah. CM Punk is a Shut up, EC. You're not leading the show.
Just because before the match. Oh.
Yeah, that word. I know English sometimes.
I know some of these words.
CM Punk is a coward. Obviously got powerbombed to hell with the Powerbomb Symphony, and cheated basically with a roll up. How many John Moxley shirts do you own? What's your favorite?
I own none, and my favorite Moxley moment is when he finally gets his hands on you and powerbombs you or DDTs you through anything that's going to put you in the hospital. That's my favorite moment. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all been so dry tonight. What's going on? Where's the
what a villain?
Anytime I see only comments by Elvis Martinez, there's a problem. I need to see another comment. Mr. Mike Riggs, give it to me. Good evening, Unpopular Review fans. This is Mr. Mike Riggs. What's going on, Mr. Mike Riggs? You got Divine Intervention. You got All Elite Joker. You got the Executive Consultant. Give me something. Don't give me this boring shit. What the hell? I got Elvis in the comments. How many John Moxley shirts? How many shirts do you have? You know what I'm saying? That you didn't pick out of the daggone locker where people just tossed it because they were done with it.
Damn, reading Elvis out here. Reading Elvis out here. So
Lopez, that's my boy Tim Drake. Shout out to Tim Drake.
The gist of it is basically that had Wardlow had a little more seasoning, he could have reversed the roll up from last week. MJF did apologize since it's Wardlow's birthday. However, Wardlow put his hands on MJF and he's going to be docking his pay and promises that if he wins the TNT championship, all of his money will be returned. He believes in Wardlow and also he believes in Spears, who's going to show him how to get the job done. Wardlow's going to murder MJF.
Exactly. It just segmented exactly. You didn't have to have Wardlow say anything. You didn't have to have Wardlow come out. That was the perfect way to get some fans behind Wardlow, even though he already has fans. Doing a great job with him. That was the perfect way to do that. Get heat on MJF. I love this segment because it did exactly what it had to do it in the smallest way possible. To answer this gentleman's question here, Victor Nash, shout out to Victor Nash. No, Gunther's not getting released right now. Eventually, hey, you never know with WWE nowadays. I don't even know WWE fan, and I'm a WWE mark, but you never know with WWE, right? So possibly, but right now, no. They see some money in them, and I think Sean said, "Please give me somebody with name recognition. Please give me Walter." They said, "We're going to give you Walter, and we're going to change his name." The smartest person on this review is the champ, Divine Intervention.
Hell yeah!
I looked at Wardlow the whole time, and man, he's pissed. MJF is the epic heel. Keep it up, Maxwell. He is definitely a heel. The tan has to go.
Oh, man, the tan is part of the whole ambiance.
Also, Wardlow is so good at being able to conveying everything he needs to say through his facial expressions. Like 100%. The fact that he just to Max the whole time. It's like I can't wait for that moment when he finally gets his hands on that man. It's glorious.
You know the only problem I have with this, right? Because the last time I was on with the two of you lovely people, I said that I think the person who's going to take the title from Adam Page is MJF. Mm-hmm. And the way they're going and the momentum they're going with now, I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think MJF is not going to take that title because I think he has a date with Wardlow first, which is going to derail him from going after Adam Page, to be honest with you. So I don't think that's going to happen now.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that. A lot of speculation out there right now as we enter into the new year on the paths for all the different titles. And I'm hearing MJF's name less than I did. I think that they've set him up with some really great storylines that by him keeping the ring, he really could be out of the title picture for almost that full year.
But who takes that title from Adam Page? And here's the thing, and you two might disagree with me, but I don't really think y'all do. As much as he had a great match with Bryan Danielson, Adam Page's title reign has been, in my opinion, even though he's only had it for 2 months, the worst AEW World Championship reign of all time. I know the company's short. Who do y'all see taking that title from him? It's not going to be Brian Cage, not Brian Cage. What's his name? Lance Archer.
It won't be Lance Archer, and they're also setting up Adam Cole as a potential.
That's possibly it. It might be Adam Cole, baby.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on it too. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on it.
He's too over.
He's over, but I feel like they would want him as a babyface heel or as a babyface champion.
Nah, Adam Cole is a heel. I'm not saying he can't be a baby, and even though, and we'll talk about him in a second, actually soon, because I think he's the first match at night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with Adam Cole, and this is not going to affect AEW what they do with them, but I just want to talk about it because when I looked at it, how some of you all do notes and stuff. I think Divine eventually do notes when you're watching these shows. I don't. I do mental notes. Okay, look at him on his phone. What kind of phone you have? Put it up.
I got the good old fashioned pen and paper.
Adam Cole needs to see a gym. I'm sorry. I'm a fan of Adam Cole. I like Adam Cole.
Damn.
But the man needs to see a gym. I'm sorry. He does. He was in the ring. It was when he was in the ring. And Britt Baker was coming out. She was doing her thing and stuff like that. And they did the camera pan to Adam Cole. And I said, damn, this dude does he go to the gym? Does he do anything? Does he do a push-up? He needs to see a gym. You know what I'm saying? I can't take him seriously. At least Adam Page looks like he goes to the gym and runs or something. Adam Cole looks like he does nothing. He ain't fat, but he does nothing.
I agree. I think MJF will definitely win the belt at some point. I'm feeling less and less confident that he's going to be the next one. I don't know what heel takes it from Page.
Has to be Adam Cole.
But I feel like MJF potentially winning it from Punk would be pretty interesting. I don't know how we get there.
But I think Wardlow has it. Elvis Martinez says, EC, you know that you love me. Do you love COVID? I don't love COVID.
Damn.
You are COVID. You're not even Omicron. You're the original variant, which killed people. Speaking of a tan, somebody please get him Adam Cole a freaking tan. My tribal chief, I would love to see CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson at the next AEW pay-per-view. Not the next AEW pay-per-view. That's something you need to build up. Bryan Danielson taking a much-needed break. He deserves it. He was going on fire.
Yeah.
But this is time that he debuted all the way until he decided to take this break. Good job to him. Ruben Lopez, Tim Drake says, I think MJF is going to give Punk his first loss, and that will give him momentum. I will hope so. I'm not so sure. Dale Fromm says, agree, EC, but he needs to be the main eventer. Adam Page is such a softie. He is. I'm sorry. He's not a good champion. Victor Nash says, Moxley, that's a possibility. But once again, are you 100% behind Moxley and sure that he's ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
American Dream Real Estate says, Marco Stunt, you're joking. Ha. American Dream Real Estate says, MJF will probably win the belt at some point. That's true. Anyone could be a wrestler with Cole's body. But he doesn't see the gym at all. And one thing I say, Adam Cole's always been small. But the way he speaks, to me, the way he moves in the ring and the way he has his promos, even when he comes out, because he knows when Adam Cole comes out, he's always talking to the camera. And I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, who are you talking to?
He's talking to himself. He's got to hype himself
up. But he hypes me up when he does that. I'm like, wow, I actually can get behind this guy. You know, I was watching my friend, and she even looked like, she was like, okay. But he took the jacket off, and I'm like,
oh, no.
You know, I'm like, come on. Mr. Mike Riggs says so eloquently, Hangman Adam, in my opinion, he's a fight AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Whoever is next in line, he's going to know that Hangman doesn't lay down for nobody. Not saying he's not a fighting champion. I'm saying that his title reign has been a little lackluster. His title reign has made the AEW World title, in my opinion, just my opinion, even though they agree with me, they probably won't say it, taken away from the main event, in my opinion. He's no longer the main event. The AEW World title. Page is going to get a long run. Moxley going to get his title back. I feel way better today. Kofi kicked my ass last week. I wish it kept you down. Merton Nash says Moxley going to destroy Ethan Page Friday night. And Coles get the crowd, baby. Boom.
Elvis, don't listen to EC. I'm glad you're feeling better. Screw that guy.
I'm glad you're feeling better, but if it took you out for 5 or 10 more quarantine days, I would have been fine. That's all I'm saying.
Damn. I will admit that Paige, as much as I love the fact that we got the payoff, I'm so happy that he got the payoff on his long-term story. His run has been the weakest of all of the champions thus far.
Remember, it's only been like 4 or 5.
Right.
Okay, so that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Right.
Listen to what she said.
Right.
Plus the guys that came before him.
Right. Everyone before him was just so strong that it wasn't just the title that was the main event. It was the person carrying it. I think that Adam Page is very popular. I still love him, and he is, one of my favorite champions, but I can admit that it's not the strongest or as strong as it needs to be.
Because honestly, I feel like he's probably even though he's not green or anything, but he's still probably the least experienced champion that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. I mean, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, John Moxley. Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, he's the least experienced out of all of them. But yeah, it's been lackluster, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I still enjoy him.
Not completely his fault,
right? But I honestly still enjoy him as a champion. I still got excited when he came out of the tunnel to fight Lance and everything. So it's hard to follow, people like Moxley and Jericho.
After he won the title, he immediately went to a program with Bryan Danielson, who's arguably, in my opinion, I say this all the time, even before he went to AEW, in my opinion, is one of those popular wrestlers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be real, Dan Bryan sold it. He did. He turned heel. He was killing it. Yeah. He overshadowed Adam Page in a way. Even though his job was to do such that so he can make Adam Page look stronger with the victory. But I'm not sure if it helped him or hurt him so much, because as soon as it was over, even though it's only been 2 weeks, but as soon as it was over, it felt like, okay, well, what's next? What are you doing? Yeah. And then they gave him Lance Archer. And no offense to Lance Archer, great talent. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you have that match, is it a pay-per-view match or is it an AEW Dynamite special match? This is,
Well,
I understand what I mean by that. Once again, no disrespect to Lance Archer.
I think we're at the position now where next week they advertised a lights out match on Beach Break between Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy. That will wrap up that storyline, and then he is able to transition over to being the number 1 contender for the title. And I think that'll add a little more spice to the.
It's your fault. I hate, you know what? I appreciate Nasty Canada making comments, but damn, you're a pervert. I swear to God, every single week, you're a fucking pervert. God, you know what I'm saying? When we start unpopular review Pornhub edition, then you can go ahead and watch that.
I'm screaming.
Okay?
I am screaming.
Do that. That's
not too much to cover here with the match. I mean, I feel like in the beginning, it started off really playful. I am upset that Chris Statlander did not get to come out to her own music. Britt Baker got her own, and I know she's the champion, but if we're trying to elevate the women's division the way it needs to be, I think Chris should have gotten her own entrance, even if it was just briefly.
Chris Statlander?
Yeah.
You know what I would say about Chris Statlander? I can't believe I'm going to say this. One, she's more attractive than I thought. Two, in my opinion, no disrespect, I'm a huge Orange Cassidy fan, I'm a huge Adam Cole fan, and I'm a huge Dr. Britt Baker DMD fan. But in my opinion, Chris Statlander was the only one in there that looked like a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That is my opinion. And I understand what I mean. I feel like I've been saying that all episode because I don't want to feel like I'm hating because I'm not, because I'm a fan of all three of the other athletes. I really am. Huge fan of them. She was the only one that looked the part. And I appreciate that about Chris Statlander and the fact she was able to go. So when I say this, also understand, because yes, I am a WWE mark. And I still feel like if you're a wrestler, your end game, your goal, your dream, at least right now, maybe 10 years ago, later it'll be different. But your dream right now is to be a WWE star. In my opinion, Chris Statlander looks like she could be a WWE star. If she got picked up and they trained her well by Shawn Michaels, she could be a star. That's what I mean. Dr. Britt Baker is a star because she's one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW.
Yeah, she is definitely a star. And I think that, I think this is the first mixed tag match we've seen, especially on Dynamite for sure.
100%. And I was interested in it because I wanted to see if they were going to do the WWE way of having men versus men, women versus women, or they were going to go with that other way where they have men and women wrestle and women and men wrestle, which is the same shit, but still. And I think they decided to go men, women, women. They did,
but they skirted the line pretty closely. They did, there were a couple of spots.
One of them said, I don't know who was on commentary, but one of them said that it's supposed to be men versus men, women versus women. Yes. But the way they did it, which was stupid at the same time. This is a critique I have them. Every single time when the men were about to tag out to the women, it was always at the same time. And the same thing with the women. Every single time was the same time. They didn't even skirt a thing where it looked like, okay, Adam Cole's going to tag a Britt Baker, but Orange Cassidy was staying in the ring.
I don't know. There were a couple of like I said, the beginning part of the match, I think there were a lot of comedy spots, which I think works well with this group. Orange Cassidy kind of has this fluid character where he can be, kind of lazy in 1 second, and then the next he's.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been dropping F-bombs this year. I don't understand what's going
on. Hug and kiss spots. I mean, there was a lot that happened in this match, but I feel like after the fact, we kind of transitioned into a little bit more serious stuff, like an actual match.
Thunder Rosa's taking that title from. Keep going. I'm just
absolutely no. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. It's going to be Thunder Rosa. But
I agree.
Yeah, what are we? Not Chris, as in like you, Chris. It's KR.
No. He spelled it wrong, but I think Chris Statlander should be the next one to challenge Britt Baker and lose.
And if that's what they're setting up for, then she should have gotten her entrance.
Instead of a rematch. Because the first time I laid eyes on Chris Statlander and said, you know what, she's better than I thought. It improved more tonight. Was at All Out when she faced Chris Statlander and Britt Baker faced each other. So yeah. I agree. It could set up a rematch. He did sound like he was losing his voice tonight. And April says hi to Elvis because she's nice and she's good. But really, Elvis, that's the first time in life anybody's ever said hi to you. Because most time when you say hi, people say bye or they run away. So
I'm screaming. Yeah, JR sounds like you could have used some tea.
And some halls.
Couple of really interesting match spots here, though. Adam Cole covering Britt Baker and taking the area 451. Beach break. They did a Canadian destroyer on the outside. I mean, this towards the end, it kind of got a little spot crazy. But eventually, Orange Cassidy ends up putting Britt through the table. Adam Cole is pissed, gives him the low blow. and the Boom for the win. Obviously, it is perceived that Orange Cassidy put his hands on Britt Baker when it was clearly an accident. But this is not going to end well for Orange Cassidy, I can only assume.
I think it was a little bit of a botch at the end. I kind of feel like he was supposed to accidentally hit her with the Superman punch.
No, the whole purpose, I thought, was that he did stop from hitting her, but ended up just bumping into her instead. But the end result was the same.
Okay, that's fair. I thought, but I could see where I was.
At least that's what the commentary team was really trying to push. If there was a botch, there was,
and that's probably was true. That's probably was true.
It's very Orange Cassidy-esque.
Yeah, I mean he's a baby face, so he's not going to outright punch a lady in the face. At least try not to, anyway. Great first tag match or mixed tag match, though. Very interested to see how they implement this in the future. Obviously, there are becoming more and more situations where female superstars are in the mix with storylines, so I could see more of these going forward.
Agreed.
Next, we've got Jericho and P&P doing a little promo. Eddie is obviously injured from 2.0 from last week. Chris doesn't give well, I won't drop any F-bombs around here. I won't be like EC. But P&P do. And maybe Chris really is the reason why they're not the tag team champions. And they've been fighting Chris's battle since day one. And next week, they're going to try to focus more on themselves. Are we seeing the breakdown of the inner circle, Joker? Finally.
Look, man, I've said since it happened, I felt like the inner circle should have been done along with Jericho being, consistently on TV at the end of the program with him and Max. That's just been where I've been at personally because, I really want to see P&P as tag team champs, and I do feel like their involvement in the inner circle has taken away from their ability to be able to be in that, picture. I do believe we'll see them as champions this year, especially since this whole thing is going down. I'm kind of excited because I'm hoping that this almost turns into a heel turn for them, only so that they can take the titles off of Jurassic Express, because I want them to take it off of Jurassic Express, because as much as I love Jurassic Express, I can't see them being champs very long. And I can't think of another heel, well, aside from FTR. But I don't know if I want to have FTR win the titles again so quickly.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought Britt looked like she took a pretty nasty bump. I don't know if she meant to go back of the head first on the floor, but do what you can. I think they are setting up for a tag division further down the line. I think you are seeing more women teaming together more often to create these connections, but I don't think it's going to be something anytime soon.
Correct. I think it'll be at least a year after the TBS J. Cargill's championship is established. There's no reason to do it now. I think it will overshadow that championship. It's going to come, but give it time.
I agree. House of Black, next tag team champion.
This is a testament to the AEW tag team division because there's actually quite a few teams that I could see in AEW that could be the next tag team champions.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. I don't think it's going to be I'll call them LAX right now. But I don't think it's going to be them. I think it's going to be because Jurassic Express, I don't see holding titles that long. So it will be, in my opinion, not to be biased, but the Acclaimed or Red Dragon.
I think FTR is going to take them.
FTR is a possibility because they seem to be very high on FTR. I think FTR is overrated, but
what about the Kings of the Black Throne, though?
I could see it. They're over as hell right now.
Not right now.
Why not, though? I mean, there hasn't been a team yet that has come in that they've strapped a rocket to and put them straight in the title picture.
It would make no sense to do it because you're bumping them ahead of people who really deserve a chance at that championship. And they're not established as anything. It's more so people want to see them as a faction more so than a tag team. So you have Brody King in there, but now people want to see who's the next person to join the House of Black. We have a House of Black as a faction.
Julia Hart. Julia Hart
do you need a Ricola or something? What's going on?
Julia Hart is for sure joining the House of Black. For sure.
But that's still not it. You need another superstar to join the House of Black. So I don't see that being a possibility.
I feel like they're teasing Pac though.
He had a great promo tonight.
He sure did.
We'll get to that.
We will get to that. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break here. Just a second. Divine Intervention, All Elite Joker, and EC. We'll be right back after these messages.
You playing the right one?
I don't know.
Play the very last video in there. I don't know what it is.
What's going on, UPR Universe, man? This your man, Steaming Willie Beeman, man. And I'm telling y'all, make sure y'all tune in each and every Friday, man, to watch me do what makes Beeman steaming. Where I talk about the things throughout the wrestling week that made Beeman steaming. Something.
Eloquent as always, you are Steaming Willie Beeman. Thank you so much. You can watch his segments. What makes Steaming Beeman? Well, what makes Beeman steaming? Every single Friday night on the SmackDown edition with Mike Knox as well as the Wrestling Dog.
Catch him on Fridays, people. All right, moving on. Adam Cole, Alex Marvez caught up with Adam Cole about everything that happened with the match. Kind of touched on it a little bit. Obviously, he feels like Orange Cassidy put his hands on his woman and pretty much called him out for a lights out match for next week's beach break. And he's sick of looking at Orange Cassidy's face, so he's going to end his pathetic career.
Is that supposed to be Diamante?
Yes, that is supposed to be.
Is that the one that shoots people?
Yes.
Okay, I only see her when I go to AEW Dark, and she's always shooting somebody, and I duck.
That's good. That's good.
I like Diamante. I do.
I was sad to see Ivelisse go. I thought that the two of them worked really well together. Obviously, don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I think they would have made, especially at this point with so much history, they would have made a pretty formidable tag team.
I don't think her wrestling was really good.
Who, Ivelisse?
I think when anybody leaves, I don't think their wrestling is really good.
That's fair. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Okay, let's get into the CM Punk Shawn Spears match. If you can even call it that. So we started with a promo package recapping the promos we've heard over the last week or so from Punk and Spears respectively. MJF made his entrance after the two combatants, going to be on commentary, made sure to let everybody know that Shawn Spears is the best accountability buddy there ever was. And then we got a goddamn squash match. I could not believe what I saw. Bell rang, GTS, 1, 2, 3. That was it. Everything kind of culminates with MJF sneaking in the ring when he thinks MJF or CM Punk's back is turned, and Punk steals MJF's scarf. Where do we go from here? Obviously, we are at the point where MJF is kind of out of people to throw at CM Punk. So, do we get the match at Revolution? Joker, what do you think?
What a glorious, glorious segment. If you were going to do this, Spears was the perfect one to do it with. He's very good at the comedic timing and everything like that. And I very much appreciated Max and his, he's the best accountability buddy ever. He's going to get the job done, unlike Wardlow. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. So that happened. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. Punk made a small reference in his promo, I believe, before the match where he said, you know, you're running out of people to hide behind and you might mess around and wind up across the ring for me in the last place you want to fight CM Punk, which they are going back to Chicago on February the 2nd, I believe.
Of course, it has to be soon. They love Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of their hotbeds. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going back on February the 2nd, which is not too far from here.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah. So then, or Evolution, but I'm just saying, if you are going to have Max beat Punk and give Punk his first L, what better place to do it than in Chicago?
That would draw a lot of heat, but
well, Max is a heat magnet, so
I think CM Punk is still feeling the effects of his match last week with Warlord. To be honest with you, so he said, "Hey, let's make this quick."
Hey man, that's entirely possible. That man took 8 power bombs, one of which through a table.
Yeah, I say it's a joke, and I'm also serious of the same thing. I think that's the reason why this match is quick. But when I wrote in my notes that Sean Spears has a nice entrance. I like his entrance.
Yeah, when they can get the timing right.
AEW still is a young company, so I forgive them for a lot of stuff, but their production is still really, really needs.
Oh yeah,
I don't like their interests in general, and when I mean their interests in general, I feel like, and once again, this is me being a WWE mark, but at the same time, this just be me 100% serious. One thing WWE does right is when somebody has an entrance, it smoothly cuts into the next entrance. In AEW, I feel like it does a hard cut to the next entrance. The music just cuts very roughly, and then the next person's music plays, and I'm like, y'all didn't transition it well enough for me. So
it's a valid criticism.
Yeah, so that's the only problem I have. Like, even did it with the Sean Spears match. He's in the ring and the music is playing, just like, and it's like it's not the same. It needs to build up a little bit more. So that's it.
Yeah, I think the production team got it right tonight, though. When he snapped his chair, the music started and everything. Like it went really
Spears' entrance very well. I was impressed.
Yeah. Obviously, not too much.
He looked like a star before you had the match.
Well, yeah. And then it happened. Not too much more to cover here. Obviously, this match between CM Punk and MJF is going to be coming up soon. I don't know what shenanigans we do to stretch it out a little bit. I think we might see them together in Chicago doing something. I don't know if we're going to get the match in Chicago. I do definitely think he's going to wear the scarf.
I need him to wear that scarf next time he shows up.
I just want him to wrap it around. Like, I don't want him to wear it MJF style. Like, I want him to wrap it around. Just fabulous.
Stupid.
Yeah, I know. All right, moving on. Billy Gunn grabs a camera guy and pulls him into the back where they capture Christian Cage, and he wants to go ahead and let Christian know that obviously his sons, the Gun Club, aka the Ass Boys, are in the top 5, and I mean they kind of have this open challenge thing right now for any team in the top 5 ranking. So why not have your boys versus my boys? And Christian is very quick to point out that Billy has never been able to get it done in a statement win, and once he makes a statement, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And when they make a statement, to let him know, and then the Sons of Gun,
Ass Boys.
yes, the Ass Boys, beat him up mercilessly and let him know that the statement has been made. Are we going to see these two together soon? Obviously. I mean, they beat up Christian Cage.
I kind of want to watch. I'm going to be honest. I kind of want to see Billy and Christian go at it, just for old time's sake. But, yeah, I guess, I suppose that was the point. Plus, they are ranked, so they do technically have a right to vie for the titles. But
unfortunately, obviously, kind of a filler match. We're all pretty sure that Gun Club is not on anybody's list to take the tag team titles away, so we won't spend too much time on this. But I think it is great that they are getting some TV time. Obviously, the Gun Club is integral during the empty arena era and brought whatever fun they could to the arena, and I think it's good that they're getting their moment in the sun.
Also, Austin's move is really cool.
Divine Intervention has a husband, right? She don't need you to kiss her ass. I don't understand what you're doing. Like, I don't understand Elvis. Like, get a blow up doll. Like, do what everybody else in your level does. It's just terrible.
Thank you, Elvis. I appreciate that. Look, man, don't be mad just because you don't have any simps. Anyway, after that, we get Cody Rhodes' return. We got a very interesting Go Big Show plug during his entrance. The only thing I really wrote next to that was just balls, because this man's balls took a beating during it was very distracting. I couldn't even watch Cody enter all I saw was this man just getting his balls beaten up on the Go Big Show. And I guess that's just where Cody's at right now, unfortunately.
Cody's also getting his balls busted when he's in that ring, bro. It's so bad for him.
In picture, Cody's setting up a giant ladder. He comes back. He's a little shit. The first thing he says, what do you guys want to talk about? Obviously, Cody Rhodes has been in quite a few AEW, or not AEW, but just wrestling news in general over the past week or so. Status of his contract, whether he's going to turn heel or not. Obviously, with his absence at Battle of the Belts due to a medical emergency in his family. So a lot of things that he covered here. He talked about a lot of things, but the gist of it is that, he basically built the Forbidden Door, and that he is challenging Sammy to a ladder match at Beach Break to unify the TNT titles. EC, I know obviously you have experience with Cody now on both sides of the spectrum. Where do you stand on Cody as of today?
Same thing as a couple weeks ago. He's doing what he has to do. Like I don't understand why he gets booed so much.
I really don't.
AEW marks are there because of Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, next to Tony Khan, of course. I mean, I know Kenny Omega does some things, Young Bucks does some things, other people do some things, but Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, is the face of that company and the stuff that he does behind the scenes.
Yes.
And y'all all there and y'all chant AEW, and you're so happy about the Forbidden Door and all that other stuff. But you're upset at him because y'all say he where? He hasn't won the world title. He took himself out of the world title. He was the TNT champion for a while, but he had great matches with a lot of people he was trying to put over.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Ricky Stark's in the company with that.
Where do you get off in booing him? I don't get it. And one thing that I always respect about John Cena, where I started respecting about John Cena, is the fact that he was, before his time, he was the face of the company. He was so popular, but people were booing him every single week. I went to a event where a Raw where he was at, and he was just he was wrestling Triple H, going to WrestleMania 22. He was just booed out of the building, and I'm like, wow, I've never seen a top babyface booed this badly consistently. I was like, they have to turn him heel. And they never did. He stayed babyface. And I respected the fact that they kept him a babyface even though the fans are trying to turn him heel. He was like, no matter what, I'm always going to be me, and I'm going to stick like this. And you're either going to like it or you don't. And that's what Cody Rhodes is doing right now. And I respect him even more for it. And you know what? Say what you want about Cody Rhodes. He knows how to get the fans hyped every time he comes out.
That's true. Joker, your thoughts on Cody and where he is today in AEW? Happy to see him back?
Yeah, I did feel bad for him because I was really invested in the promo that he was trying to cut, but you couldn't hear half of it because of the crowd. And it's just like, come on, guys. Like, legitimately, Cody is one of the reasons. And I mean, I know he's kind of playing back and forth with the heel, not heel thing. But, he mentioned all the things that CM Punk laid out in the pipe bomb, which, is kind of like one of the anthems for a lot of the AEW crowd, especially the AEW originals. And, Cody was like, he said all this stuff that Punk said during the pipe bomb, and was like, look, I did that stuff. I'm the reason that we're here. I'm a huge part of this. We are all a part of this because of that. And I mean, yeah, Cody was a god for so long. And I don't understand why people feel the need to boo him so mercilessly when he really doesn't deserve it. And it's like, it sucks because it kind of looks like you see a small part of him die every time. And it's just bad.
Yeah, I agree. And it is a shame because I think that he truly has brought something special to the world of wrestling. And I wish he hadn't done the Go Big show. I think that that's where things started going wrong for whatever reason. There's a
reality show.
Right. And his reality show, it has never gone well, at least in the beginning, for most wrestlers when they start being seen as turning mainstream, you know, eventually people get over it. But at the beginning, you could look at anybody, you know, The Rock, John Cena, you know, The Miz, everybody kind of had pushback when they entered into that more mainstream realm.
The one thing criticism I have with this is not so much Cody Rhodes, it's about the storyline at all. I don't see the purpose of him versus Sammy Guevara in a TNT title match for the ladder match. I think he was not gone that long to really warrant it. He was gone for like 2 weeks.
Right. The only thing that I will say is that this sets up the precedence going forward. The fact that there can be an interim TNT champion technically means that there could be an interim champion for any of those belts if something were to happen to any of the superstars. And with this being the first introduction of an interim, you know, champion, you have to set the precedence on, okay, well, when this person comes back, what do we do? You know, and I agree that, yes, he hasn't been gone for very long, but if you don't do this, then if somebody's gone for 6 months, then what do they come back? Like, well, I was the champ before I left, so gimme. No, of course there's going to be some kind of match. But then the argument could be made, well, you didn't do that with Cody and Sammy. That's just my perspective on it.
Agreed.
All right. Keeping it moving here because we still have quite a little bit to cover. Short promo here with Anna Jay and Jade Cargill. Going to be a match on Dynamite. Anna's going to do whatever it takes to win. She even wrapped barbed wire around her arm to win that match, that street fight. Jade, you know, just reminding us that is that bitch show. Honestly, she doesn't have to say much other than that.
That outfit was outstanding.
Oh my God. I looked up from my notes and I was just like, we've been blessed this evening. We have been truly blessed.
The part was outstanding.
EC, I know that's your girl, so shout out to Jade Cargill. We'll have to let you know how that goes on Rampage. Alrighty, next we have Kings of the Black Throne versus Varsity Blondes. What is that child? Julia Hart. Sorry, I was just talking about her. Came out with no cheer outfit this time. Her dress has been getting further and further away from the Varsity Blonde aesthetic. And I'm pretty interested to see what happens. Brody King is an absolute monster. Slams Griff Garrison into the steel steps. They have an finisher called Dante's Inferno. And then Pac cut that wicked promo afterward. We'll touch on the promo in just a second. But Kings of the Black Throne, Joker, I mean, seeing them in action for the first time, what did you think?
I loved it. Love the aesthetic. Brody King looks like a giant version of Aleister Black, and the pairing of them just looks intimidating. Aleister with his just stoic and I'm going to hurt you look, and then, well, you've seen Brody. Mm-hmm. He's massive. They have really good chemistry together. Watching them in the ring, it was very fluid. Very excited to see what else they can come up with. They have their own music. I see them being a legit tag team for a good while. I know that the faction itself is probably going to grow, and I think that might be one of the reasons the Inner Circle seems to be kind of, finally phasing out. Now you're going to have the House of Black become one of the more, major factions in the company. But I could see them being the vanguard and like the main, team. And that's why I don't see it as such a crazy thing for them to, grab those belts, because, Aleister doesn't, my bad. Malachi doesn't need it. But for them to have that gold would just be, even more enticing to join the House of Black.
Yeah, I agree. Pac promo, really quick running through it. Just basically saying Malachi might have a few spells up his sleeve, but basically Pac he's a badass. He's pretty sure that Malachi was expecting Pac to call him master at this point, and he's about to make a martyr out of Malachi Black. I'm very interested in all of this House of Black stuff. The way that it's reading to me is, obviously the Black Mist is part of the recruiting process, and I'm very interested to see what more we can gain from some more promos between the two of them. You see any thoughts? Cool. Next we had Lance Archer and Adam Page. I won't talk about this too long. Lance basically doesn't wait in line anymore. He's going after the title. And Page says, if you're here for the belt, you can come for it. But if you're looking for a fight, he's going to bring the fight to you. Kind of touched on it earlier. I don't think Lance is going to take the title, unfortunately, but I am interested to see how this match plays out. Two very talented individuals. Next we have the Cutler Cam. Trent and Rocky Romero in the back. I guess it was supposed to be set up for the Young Bucks. Cut a quick promo basically calling them out, saying, when we were in Japan, we totally whooped your ass. We're going to do it again next week, or I guess on Friday, not next week. And they'll be the ones to finally beat the Young Bucks. I liked, I don't think I wrote it down anywhere, but they did also show a little package later on in the show, kind of showing some clips from Japan and, these two teams going at it. I didn't realize they had so much history. Like on the surface, it's like, oh, I guess the best friends and the Young Bucks are just throwing, like, they look like they truly had gone to war with each other back, a few years ago. So I hope they can bring some of that same magic to AEW. We will touch a little bit on the match. Next match, Lance Archer versus Frankie Kazarian. Basically, it was meant to be a reminder of, like, Lance Archer. He's a big, scary dude. Frankie would not quit. I mean, for me, I wish this had been a squash. Like, I know that we got a squash with CM Punk versus Sean Spears, and you can't, you run the risk of it being seen as overusing the trope. But I really wish that this had been a squash match.
Yeah, this went too long for me too. I also wish it had been a lot faster. I know they were trying to keep the, validity of Frankie Kazarian. He's won 61 matches in, his AEW career, all that stuff. But Lance is Lance. It doesn't matter who it is. Just have him destroy them and move on. That's how Lance is supposed to operate.
Yep, I agree.
Especially with him coming back.
He obviously got the win with the blackout. All of this was to lure out Hangman Page because he was gonna, I guess, do another choke slam on a chair, outside of the ring. Page came out, obviously got in his face. Page looks good, man. I don't, as a millennial, he took his boot off and beat the man with the boot. But I don't know. I'm just enjoying Page as a champion while it lasts. Anytime I get to see him on the screen, anytime he's, out here trying to bring some validity to the championship, I'm all for it. Alrighty. Thank you. Wonderful.
Did not know that.
Promo between Dante Martin, Matt Sydal, and Lee Moriarty. This whole thing is kind of strange. I don't know where Leo Rush is at this point. I think bringing Leo into the mix kind of threw things off, because had Dante been aligned with Matt Sydal this whole time, I feel like this promo would be a little more believable.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically said Sydal has been like a brother to him, and of course he would have his back, and Lee and Sydal have Dante's back. All goody, great. And this just feeds into an alternative promo from Team Taz. Ricky says that Dante has a baby brother complex, which I thought was actually pretty funny and a little accurate. The way that he acts with the other people in the roster is a little naive sometimes to me. I know he's a young talent, but I got the baby brother complex. Dante shouldn't trust anyone. He's going to find out quick he's all alone. And he needs to watch all sides because Team Taz raises assassins. Joker, just real quick. Obviously, they're referencing Hook. You think it's going to be Dante versus Hook soon? Yes.
I hope so.
One can only hope.
I want him to destroy him. I love Dante Martin, but I also really love Hook. And I feel like that could be a really cool match. You have Dante flying around all over the place, Hook trying to just defend against that. And then finally, once Hook is finally able to get his hands on him, you got two of the future, you got two of the youngest people on your roster going at it. This is a feud that can stretch for years. So we have the potential to see something that could be amazing.
Always love to see the young talent getting their opportunity to shine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make one final push here to wrap up the recap on AEW Dynamite. But before we do that, a brief word from our sponsors.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Patrick the Full Nelson. Welcome to an all-new edition of I Like It, featuring your boy, Patrick. I'm going to discuss what I like on this week on wrestling. I like that recently that WWE, they announced Mickie James as part of the entrance in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think hopefully this will allow WWE to test its forbidden doors. This will allow WWE to open its forbidden doors. Let's see where it goes.
Let's see where it goes. We apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That is a brief preview or review of Patrick's I Like It segment, which you can watch on NXT every single Tuesday with Bad Guy Jack and Captain Shane. But this is the commercial. We'll be right back after this brief commercial. Stay with us. You're watching a popular review.
Oh shit, I gotta do a commercial. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Bad Guy. You can catch me on Tuesday nights right after NXT go off the air. But there's so much going on with UPR. You got the wrestling aspect of everything, you got the gaming, and you got the entertainment. So there's so much content going on. And hey, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. There's so much content going on, and we want to say thank you for following us. And hey, if you don't follow us, I gotta say, there's a certain list that you're gonna be on. So continue to support us. Thank you for everything. And don't be jerks.
Don't make it on the list, boys and girls.
Don't be jerks.
Yeah, that stupid ass list. Ladies and gentlemen, watching Unpopular Review AEW edition. Executive consultant here, joined by Divine Intervention, Oli Joker. Please make sure you like, love, and share this. If you're watching, I don't understand why you haven't hit that like button yet. To all of your wrestling timelines and groups, and make sure that you're following us on all our social media, Unpopular Review, as well as YouTube, on all three of our YouTube channels, Unpopular Review, Unpopular Review Gaming, as well as UPRE. Bruh, I know. Why does Ron have a list? I agree. But
do it. Like, share, subscribe. All right. We're going to make a final push here. Is this the last No, one more promo after this. All right. Chris Statlander and Red Velvet are chilling with Tony Schiavone, recapping the mixed tag match. Obviously, some positivity there. Layla Hirsch interrupts, and she is pissed. Obviously, Chris should have been more focused on their match and not so much the mixed tag match. She's cost Layla thousands of dollars. She's cost Red Velvet thousands of dollars. And Layla's sick of the bullshit. So she beats up Chris and Red Velvet and tries to lock Chris in her nasty-looking armbar. This friendship is deteriorating very quickly. EC, I know you're a Red Velvet fan, if I remember correctly.
Definitely.
I know you're obviously a Chris Statlander fan, at least a growing one. What are your thoughts on Layla Hirsch?
I need to see more of her. I'm going to be a fan of Red Velvet. I'm going to be friends with my Facebook friend, Red Velvet, because Red Velvet is hot as hell. She was the highlight of my AEW Dark experience this past weekend, and she will be the highlight of my AEW Dynamite experience next week because they don't know when to put Jay Cargill on. Like, why would you have Jay Cargill, the TBS champion, on Rampage, but not Dynamite?
I also thought about that.
I wish I had an answer for you. I really do.
Thank you. I
Yes.
would very much want this because I feel like Layla, her whole aesthetic fits so well in Team Taz, and I feel like Team Taz could go, use a girl among their ranks, and I feel like she'd be the perfect one for it.
I agree. Like I was saying earlier, I think that we are going to see, especially in going into 2022, a lot more female additions to stables as we start reaching into like the mixed tag and more female titles on the line, obviously with the TBS championship. I don't remember this being advertised for tonight's show.
It was not.
I know obviously there's some beef there, but I don't think anything official was announced. But hopefully we'll get to see that match very soon.
He challenged him, but I don't think there was ever an official announcement or anything.
Yeah, definitely more of a Rampage match, though. I agree. Moving on, Serena Deeb versus Sky Blue.
Poor baby.
Oh, boy. Pretty much the way it was explained, the match was set up because Sky Blue was sticking her nose where it didn't belong, trying to defend Shida against the actions of Serena Deeb last week. Obviously, if you didn't see it, very nasty knee attack and just completely dismantled Shida. So much so she's no longer in the country. She went back to Japan. So I don't think we're going to be seeing her for a little while. But this match in particular, Sky Blue got one or two small hope spots in, but I mean, Deeb was just manhandling her the entire match. Is Serena Deeb the next heel champion? I don't know if she'll be the next champion after Britt, but somebody's got to put some gold on this woman soon.
Without a doubt. I mean, Deeb's probably aside from Britt Baker, I mean, Deeb is one of the hottest women on the roster. Like, her in that ring, she demands your attention. Whether it's a squash, whether it's an amazing contest like her and Shida, she makes you watch. And poor Sky Blue, the poor child got a neck breaker on the ropes. She hit her with a detox and then still didn't pin her. She just is proving the point that she wants to beat everyone down. And if anyone crosses her, they're going to get hurt.
And I feel like her finisher has truly transitioned into this, slamming of the knee into the
block.
Yeah, slamming it down first before completely wrenching it back. Like, she makes it look disgusting. And I like the fact that from a women's roster perspective, like, if there's a male superstar that's popular, you don't wait weeks before we see them again. Deeb is hot right now. And even if it's just a short match, I like the repetition. I like the fact that she's being put in front of our faces constantly, because it's only going to build her credibility as just a ring general.
Agreed, which they need.
Yeah, they definitely need. They need somebody that feels more seasoned in the women's roster. Next quick promo with Matt Hardy and Andrade, following up from last week with the merger of Andrade and the HFO. Matt Hardy has decided to sell 51% of the HFO to Andrade, but he's planning to keep the majority of seats on the council, I guess. It will now be board of directors. Thank you. And now it will be known as the AHFO. And they're still trying to recruit the child that walks around with Sting, aka Darby Allin. EC, I shudder to ask, but what are your thoughts about the Matt Hardy and Andrade merger?
You want to talk about somebody that they say, we do not have anything for you, but we want to make it look like we have something for you? That's Andrade El Idolo. Like, they're really trying to make it work because they like him. He's a great talent. They know what they have in him, but they really don't know what to do with him. So they put him with this Hardy bullshit, right? I will always have respect for Matt Hardy. This faction doesn't work for me, and the main reason it doesn't work for me is that he still is too tall compared to everybody he's in there with. So it's like it doesn't work. Maybe Andrade will help because I think Andrade has been doing a great job of developing his character. And once again, understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Developing his character in AEW. But has it been a hit? Not at all. Because there's no direction of where he's going. He's in a feud with this person and subsequently gets dropped and he's in a feud with this person. A feud with this person. Then I get subsequently dropped and he's in a feud with this one. Now all of a sudden I'm in Hardy Financial Office. For what? I like the concept. I like the idea. I'm going to give it a chance because I'm a fan of these wrestlers. But I can tell there's no direction. It's not working as well. There's no clear direction as it is with the CM Punk and MJF. There's no clear direction as it is with the Inner Circles definitely breaking up. So that's where I have issues. It can change in 2 weeks, like his managers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jose's lasted quite a while. I'm hoping that this turns into Andrade forcibly pushing Hardy out of the HFO. I feel like that'd be better for Hardy and for the HFO. Andrade's come out with the Black Mask gimmick, and Black Mask is like a gang leader. So if he can turn the HFO into something, as him as the leader, maybe we can go somewhere with that. Maybe not, but I'm hoping this is the beginning of them going down a path for Andrade, because like you said, I don't feel like he's had a very clear path since he's gotten there. He's had some great matches, he's had some great feuds, but nothing that's been like a clear, consistent story or path work for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, all we can do is wait and see. I think there is more to it than just the face value selling of the HFO. I think there will be some underhanded trickery, but we will just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Couple of interesting things here. I truly meant the TBS champion. Because Jade is a heel, I don't know if we can go straight to that, but I guess we'll see. Serenity versus Thunder Rosa, absolutely. I 100% want to see that.
After she fights Britt for the championship.
What company has more diversity? Depends on what you define as diversity. I personally think AEW does, but that's just my opinion. And last but not least, it's unfortunate, but you can't fault them. Well, not only can you not unsee, but you can't fault, AEW, TBS, like that's truly their logo. So there's nothing that can be done about that, unfortunately. It's just
if it wasn't the actual logo for TBS, then maybe, but
it is what it is. Besides, it's that bitch show anyway. So what does it truly matter?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to wrap things up here. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Acclaimed. Had a video package in the beginning that, mimicking ones we've seen in the past, obviously with Sting picking up Darby in the car. The Acclaimed are a bunch of idiots. I got a good laugh out of this, especially with him carrying around the scooter. The Acclaimed, of course, came out and did their rap. And they attacked Darby Allin before the bell, get him in a chair, toss him against the outside post. And it is believed that he can't continue. And they've told Sting that if he wants to go it alone, he's more than welcome to try. I thought this match, I don't know. The storyline of it was kind of predictable in the sense that, obviously Darby's taken much worse punishment in the past. I think it was pretty understood that he was going to be coming back before the end of the match. But I think Sting held his own. He slamming them into the steel steps, trying to at least make it somewhat believable that this grown ass old man is fighting the Acclaimed by himself. But yeah, in the end, Darby does make his return. He launches himself and saves Sting. Sting does a splash into the table. We get a coffin drop for the win. I don't know how I feel about this for the main event. But it was fun. It was a fun match for me. Joker, your thoughts?
Yeah, I might have honestly switched this in the Orange Cast, in the mixed tag match. To be completely honest, as far as like for your main event slot, it was a fun match. It was a good match. I think Darby did kind of injure something or hurt something because he was grabbing at his collarbone and not like in a cell kind of way, like in a reactionary kind of way. So I think he may have gone. I'm pretty sure this was the story to go in the first place, but it seemed like he may have actually injured himself a little bit because, we all know Darby likes to just throw himself 100% at whatever he's doing to his own detriment. But yeah, I don't know if I would have put this in the main event. It was a fun match though. So
agreed. EC, Darby and Sting for tag team champs. They're
One thing
undefeated.
I have to say that the storyline of this match, besides the Acclaimed, because the great is Sting. I always joke when I feel like they have people who are too old to wrestle in the match in the ring, and Sting has been wrestling. He's 61, 62. Like, What the fuck are you doing? Mm-hmm. But I'll give him credit in the world. He still goes out there and puts on an entertaining match, a better match than some other wrestlers do. I gotta give him credit. He goes out there and takes bumps. Yeah. He goes out there, he takes bumps. I mean, yeah, we know he's wearing padding, but he still goes out there and he takes bumps. Like today, he went out there and he was taking the heat for most of the match, right? Mm-hmm. And then Darby was the one that was out. Normally, that should have been the other way around. And then Sting comes in and makes a save. But he went out there, he said, I got it. And he took the bumps.
Yeah.
I understand why you say you don't think this should have been the main event, and I completely 100% get that. But at the same time, for the city was in, I'm going to sound like the Mark Victor Rodriguez because he's such a New York advocate. I'm not a D.C. advocate, but at the end of the day, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. And when I was raised in Washington, D.C. in high school, showing my age, but when I was in high school, it was in the height of WCW. And where it was Starrcade most of the time at that time, it was in Washington, D.C. And I understand why they hyped it up, and I understand why they did that, because he returned to Washington, D.C. and he wrestled. And he main evented Sting versus Hogan, which was arguably the biggest Starrcade they ever had as far as money-wise, in D.C. Well, technically it was Maryland, but still. So I thought it was a fun match. You know how much I love the Acclaim. I want them to be the ones to take the tag team titles, to be honest with you. And I think they get hotter and hotter every week as far as fan participation and fan recognition. Mm-hmm. But it was Sting and Darby Allin's time, and they did a good job. And I thought it was a very good end to this very good episode of Dynamite.
As I was listening to the announce team, they did, a good job of alluding to those of us who are not as experienced in, what obviously the wrestling that took place in WCW and stuff that obviously built up Sting for his presence in Washington, D.C. So towards the end, I was like, oh, okay, I get why he's been such a prominent figure in this particular match. And it doesn't happen often. For the most part, Darby's the one who takes most of the heat. So I think this was actually a nice switch. I don't know. I just personally would have maybe put it someplace else on the card. But let's see, we've got time for the trios titles. Yes, I could definitely see the trios titles potentially making a debut. I would hope not to see them until maybe almost the end of the year. I think we've got a lot of gold floating around AEW right now. But new titles are always welcome. Remember to like, love, follow, and share. We won't read the end part. Sorry, Elvis. Moxley, I'm glad he had somebody with him this time. There are some times where fans can get a little squirrely. Sting is super over again. I agree. I think the crowd really took to him during that match. I can't wait to see more. Let's see. What are your ratings on the show? I'd give it a solid 9. There aren't very many complaints that I have. I think they're pretty nitpicky. Joker, what about you?
Yeah, I'd probably stick with an 8.5, 9, somewhere around there. It was a solid show. also, I was just being really nitpicky with my critiques. You know, I'm trying to get to the point. I know AEW is still very young in the grand scheme of things, but I am trying to start, you know, being a little bit more critical of certain things. But yeah, all in all, it was a great show.
Can't get better unless you criticize just a little bit. EC, what about you? 1 through 10? I know you're the visitor here. All right, nice. Well, overall, I'd give the show a thumbs up. I know this was kind of a long one, but thanks you guys for sticking around for it all. As always, this is Divine Intervention, All Elite Joker, and our special guest this week, EC. AEW Dynamite recap and review. This is Unpopular Review. Like, follow, subscribe.
Not everybody.